Trap more gang. I'm back with another David update, and this one is going to be big. This one is going to be crazy, and this might be the most significant update that I've done on David since this whole situation happened. I have a whole bunch of things, and look, I'll keep it real with you. All right, I will keep it very real with you. The case went very cold. It went very quiet for a bit. There's a couple of new things that make me think that we might not be far from hearing an arrest. Okay, because other people, not even me, okay, I've said it before, but other people are saying that anybody, not just David, but anybody around this situation, there might be a whole group of people that were involved in this situation, and they're saying that they're cooked. All right, that's what I'm not saying it. Other people are saying it. Okay, I got my stress ball on deck because this. I tell you what, I've been tearing my hair out over this one. Okay, trust me. People have been saying, "Where's the David update? Where's the David update?" I've been saving a whole bunch of links. I've been waiting. I've been seeing the posts saying that, oh, David's been cleared of any involvement. Yeah, okay, buddy. Okay, buddy. I'm not buying it personally. In my personal opinion. I think give it a little bit more time. The oven's been preheated. I think David might be cooked in my personal opinion, okay? So let's get into absolutely everything around this case. And I'm going to start it off on a very strange, a very seriously suspicious note, okay? A bunch of posts have been going around over the last couple of weeks, okay? This has probably been about 2 weeks that this has been going on, okay? That there have been a bunch of posts to suggest that there's no wrongdoing to be found. Absolutely, just a kid, a 14-year-old child can just turn up in the trunk of a Tesla, dead. Some have said dismembered, some people haven't. Heavily decomposed. There's been a whole bunch of posts about this, okay? So this basically was from an article about the situation, and I'm going to elaborate on this more, but I just want to start off with this post and some of the reaction to it. It said, people posted this and said, well, I guess the case is over and the department doesn't give a S. It says, in a statement provided to KTLA on November the 6th, the department said its prior news release stands on its own, reaffirming that no crime other than concealment of a body may have occurred. The LA County District Attorney's Office also told the outlet that no case has been presented for review or prosecution. However, this doesn't change the fact that somebody hid Rivas Hernandez's body and that someone should be charged and punished. Now, a lot of people are in the comments basically saying this is just preposterous at this point, and I agree, all right? But I'm going to give you some more context as to why maybe this isn't good news for David after all, okay? But let's just drink the Kool-Aid for a little bit, okay? Because I feel like there is a lot of damage control going on, and I personally might be the only person who can actually see through it. Me and maybe one other person. We're going to talk about him in a bit. They're saying, why would anyone need to conceal and hide a body if no crime was committed? Even if she was underage when she was murdered or passed somehow, there was like several other options besides concealing and hiding her. Only someone with a motive would do that. People are saying there are so many charges they can stick on David, even if he didn't kill anyone or even if he didn't hide the body, but the LAPD notoriously sucks, especially when there's somebody rich and famous in play with a lawyer like he has. But we will all have to hope and pray and see it out until the end. Also, like other counties, I want to see LAPD on camera having some faces to the words of this release instead of giving their reports to news networks to submit. People are saying, I've posted this on another thread, but I've watched a lot of court cases unfold over the years. It's not uncommon for investigators to make inaccurate or outright false public statements strategically to try and get the suspect to do something to feel safe. You have to remember, any public statement the police might make as well be said... any public statement the police make might as well be said straight to David because he and his team can see everything. Because of this, public statements during investigations are often used as tools. The facts are, a 14-year-old girl was found decomposing in the trunk of her adult boyfriend's car. This does not point to an OD. Okay, so there's a bunch of other theories, all right, but basically, there's basically been this sort of statement that's been going around from KTLA, and people have picked up on a bunch of other things. Okay, so this is a bit more of a comprehensive kind of look. One of the other articles that kind of reported on it, and people are picking up on significant little details. They're saying new LAPD statement to KTLA, only a misdemeanor is confirmed. All right, no further crimes confirmed. No further crimes, just a dead body of a child in the trunk of a car. I've said it before and I'll say it again, okay? I am fully under the impression that when I conduct myself as an adult out there in the world, if I get found with a dead body in my car, I'm going to jail that night. That's what I thought. That's how I thought society worked. Apparently not. Apparently not. It makes my blood boil. But anyway, we're gonna keep going. This basically is just kind of like more reporting on that situation. It says the LA Police Department confirmed Thursday with KTLA that no additional criminal charges have been substantiated in the investigation surrounding the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, whose body was discovered earlier this year after she'd been reported missing. In a statement provided to KTLA on November the 6th, the department said its prior news release stands on its own, reaffirming that no crime other than concealment of a body may have occurred. The LA County District Attorney told the outlet that no case has been presented for review or prosecution. Okay, it doesn't change the fact that somebody should be punished and charged for the fact a body was found in the car, and then there's more. It says, following the KTLA report, several journalists, advocates, and online commentators expressed frustration that investigators have not publicly addressed the nature of the relationship between the artist and the minor. Okay, and we're going to get to Steve Fisher, the private investigator, who has been kind of very up and down with some of his statements, okay, and we're basically going to see his response to this in more detail in a minute, okay. People are saying this makes me so angry. The LAPD sucks, okay. Some people are going to pop out and defend David here, but they're saying that's insane. Why would someone try and conceal a body if there was no foul play? The body of a child, no less, okay. Now, after this statement was made, I personally feel like there begun to be some false reporting, okay? And again, this statement that was made to KTLA was kind of parroted across a whole bunch of different platforms, okay? So this is a post on the Celeste subreddit. It says, I promise if David only gets charged for 1 year and a $10,000 fine for concealment of a body and nothing else, I'll be absolutely done with any law enforcement, because let Celeste be a young white girl, the president might step in and order a hit on David. Now, that last statement is absolute cap. But basically, it says here, amid the ongoing investigation, the LAPD reportedly told KTLA the only crime they've been able to identify is the concealment of the body. They haven't concluded any foul play in her death. They haven't named David or anyone else as a suspect. And it says, per KTLA's legal analyst, Alison Tressel, concealing an accidental death is a misdemeanor in California that only constitutes a maximum of 1 year in a county jail and a $10,000 fine at most. How disgusting is that, right? As I said before, I was so solid and confirmed under the impression that if I am found with a body in my trunk, let alone a minor, let's say an adult, right? Not even as serious as having a child dead in your trunk, I'm not going home. I'm facing serious time. I'm not seeing my family for decades. That's what I'm thinking. But apparently, the most you can get is 1 year in the county and $10,000 fine. Most, like, what's the judge going to say? Like, bruh, you know what I mean? At least she wasn't 6 years old, so we're only going to give you $5,000 fine. Absolute, like, it makes your blood boil. I can't believe it, bro. I actually can't believe it, but we're going to see some very interesting stuff that happened after this, right? Look at the comments. No foul play, my ass. 14-year-old girls don't just up and die of natural causes. If there was no foul play, David and his team would have 100,000% called the police instead of hiding her away. He would have been outed as a PDF, but people wouldn't be calling him a murderer. Somebody killed her either on purpose or accidentally, drug overdose. I'm tired of the cops and the guys who swear they're building a case. They don't give a damn. You're going to see soon if you haven't realized it yet. People saying, I think I agree they aren't building a case. The fact her family's not speaking out publicly looks really bad. Why aren't they screaming justice for Celeste? Why don't they have some Nancy Grace type of lawyer standing in front of the LAPD with a bullhorn? I don't get it. Their silence is very concerning. Even if they were letting the cops do their job, no family would stay silent for 2 months. And now, there's basically a lot of back and forth. And I said in a previous video that I don't really want to point the finger at the family. I'll be honest with you. On a personal level, I feel like I could harden my stance on that a little bit and say, like, I don't want to blame the family, but I do feel like it is unusual. I feel like I'm surprised that we're not hearing more from the family. I feel like maybe the family knew more of what was going. This is my opinion, but like, I feel like maybe the family knew more of what was going on with the relationship, and now I feel like the family perhaps don't want to let on what they knew to avoid any culpability. But I don't think anybody, there's been a bunch of crazy conspiracy theories like, oh, maybe the family killed her and framed Dave. Come on, man. Just like, bruh. If that turns out to be true, this will be one of the craziest crime twists in American crime history. What I think is more likely is maybe the family were kind of turning a blind eye to the relationship and things got too far, and now maybe they're thinking, well, we were complicit in some kind of weird crime against a minor that she shouldn't have been over there, but obviously we wouldn't have wanted it to end this way, but like, we just need to keep quiet now because we don't want to implicate ourselves. I don't know, potentially, okay? Potentially. But what I think is really interesting is that after this, After this news came out and the statement was released to KTLA, and they were saying that, look, there's no suspect and no crime, and it's basically just like it's a misdemeanor, it's a speeding ticket, basically. It's a speeding ticket. You went too fast. You went 11, you went 7 years too fast, all right, and you got a speeding ticket. Out of nowhere, this is where I get very, very, very suspicious, right? Out of nowhere, we start seeing these posts popping up. Police confirm David not a suspect in Celeste Rivas murder case. Now, that's not what was said, is it? They said they haven't got a suspect. They didn't say they confirmed David is not a suspect. They didn't say they cleared David. And I'll keep it real with you guys. I would say the majority of the social media push that I've had personally has been organic. I drop videos on YouTube, and if you don't know me, if you only know me for this David stuff on this channel, you don't know. I've got a whole other channel, all right, Trap Law Ross, where I make documentaries about famous rappers, famous cases, a lot of murder cases, gang cases, things like that. And, sometimes those videos go viral and people take clips of those, they put them on Instagram. Now, only recently when I did an interview with 6ix9ine, and basically somebody approached me and said, why don't you, to try and push this interview, and this is like a new thing for you doing interviews, why don't you spend some money and get some of these pages to post clips from it to kind of raise your profile and get the word out there that you've done this interview? I said, okay, cool. Like, I'll throw a little bit of money towards that. Like, let's do a little bit of paid promo. Like, I've never done this before. Now, I got to see behind the curtain, and no disrespect to anybody that's involved in that. I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus. I'm not going to name any names. And there was a few bits of paid promo I did, and it seemed that led to dozens of other, even bigger pages posting it just for free, just because they had seen smaller pages that had maybe been paid to get that spark going. I don't even know. Maybe people would have posted it organically. I'm not sure I'm going to do paid promo again. It was literally the one time that I've ever done paid promo was to basically get some of these 6ix9ine clips out there to let people know I've done an interview with this guy, right? And I got to see behind the wall. I got to see behind the looking glass. I got to see how do people say it? I got to see how the sausages were made, or how the burgers were made. And you can basically make posts, and you can just pay people to post them. You can just fire up Canva, Photoshop, throw a picture of yourself. Like, I could make a picture of me right now, just a picture of me, just screenshot this. I could make a picture of me doing that. Okay, and I could throw some text at the top of it, and it could say Trap Law Ross cleared of 7 murder for hires, accused of being the biggest crime boss in Bognor Regis, West Sussex. And I could post that around, and some people would believe, some pages would post that, other pages that I didn't pay to post that would post it. I could pay someone $500 to post that, and other people would start posting it, and you would start seeing these posts saying Trap Law Ross cleared of 7 bodies. Now, it's absolute cap. But some dumb, small section of people would probably drink the Kool-Aid and believe. Hang on a sec. This isn't quite conforming to my standards here. Some people would believe, okay, that I had genuinely become the biggest kingpin in Bognor Regis and had 7 murders for hire. Now, there's a bunch of these, and I've lost count of them. But I'm seeing a lot of these posts. David not named as a murder suspect in Celeste Rivas case. Police confirm a new statement. Now, they don't post anything from the article suspiciously. It's just a picture of him and a picture of her and some text. All right? Official statement release has declared David is not a murder suspect in the case of 14-year-old Celeste. Kind of didn't say David, did it? Didn't mention him. It just said that we haven't got a suspect yet, right? The artist has since hired a legal team and murder investigated legal team. They represented Harvey Weinstein. Their job is to identify how Celeste's body ended up in the back of the artist's Tesla. Well, it wasn't in the back, was it? There's a bunch of misinformation, right? And as I say, I've recently found out that you can pay people to post anything. You can throw a picture underneath some text and you can pay to have anything posted. I'm not accusing anybody of doing this. I'm not saying that David paid to have this pushed around to try and make it look like he's been cleared when he hasn't. I'm not saying that. Absolutely not. No way. But all I'm saying is that it's true. I've recently found out that it's true that you can just make stuff like this and pay people and they'll post it. There's no check, there's no fact check, there's no fake news monitor, Rap Updates TV. Police confirm in a new statement that David is not. They didn't say David is like. They didn't mention him, okay? And yeah, it was definitely not the news that people maybe wanted to hear, all right? But saying, please confirm David is not a suspect. Interesting, all right? This got posted around a lot. Now, I'm going to move on to some other things because we're going to get into some absolutely crazy stuff, right? But I think this is a really interesting way of framing this to begin with because I want you guys to understand what's going on behind the scenes. So, 8 days ago, apparently the toxicology report is on the way, okay? Apparently other cases from around the time that were deferred are no longer deferred. People are saying, what's taken so long with the toxicology? And Steve Fisher would actually reveal, so this is the private investigator who is apparently working with the owner of the home that David was renting when this body was discovered in the Tesla around the corner. He said, I'm confident that the initial toxicology results for Celeste Rivas Hernandez are back, but either the results were inconclusive or require further testing, or additional investigation is needed to determine the cause and manner of death. All other cases at the medical examiner's office from September the 8th, except Celeste's, are no longer listed as deferred and now have both a cause and manner of death determined. However, 3 cases from September the 7th are still in deferred status, along with others from even earlier. We know that Celeste was in an advanced state of decomposition, and it's possible that the toxicology findings were not conclusive enough for the medical examiner to confidently rely on. They may now be requesting additional toxicology testing, investigation from in-house investigators, because the cause of death is not an overdose, or seeking consultation with additional pathologists to make a final determination. Regardless, I'm confident the initial toxicology results are in. I've documented 4 cases from September the 8th and 9th that were previously deferred, but now have a cause and manner of death listed, all of which appear to be overdose related, indicating the toxicology results were returned and used to make those determinations. Now, this private investigator, Steve Fisher, okay, is very controversial. Some people have tried to trash his credibility, rather suspiciously, if you ask me, but some people have tried to trash his credibility, and some people are trying to make out that, like, he's in it for the money. Maybe he is in it for the money. Maybe he's in it for the clout. Maybe he's in it for the fame. But from all the posts that I've seen him put up, I feel like he does genuinely want to get to the bottom of this. He does have exclusive information that nobody else has. He may well be sharing things with the police that he's found that maybe either the police overlooked, the police didn't have access to, routes that the police didn't even like think to go down. But I ain't gonna lie. He's very controversial. Some people don't like him. They're saying he's a clout chaser. I'm rocking with Steve. I'm actually rocking with Steve. I feel like he's doing a good job. He's bringing up interesting things. People are saying, he's teasing information. He's making it. He's ramping up the drama. But I do feel like there's probably reasons why maybe there's certain things he can't reveal. Maybe there's information that he's kind of wants to at least be strategic about how he's actually putting that across. But basically, let's take a look at that statement that he made after the kind of controversial LAPD statement to KTLA, where they kind of said, basically, nobody's being charged, and essentially, David's cleared. We've cleared. David's been cleared. Yeah, sure. This says basically, this is a long statement that he made. It says it's been 2 months since the autopsy of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, and nobody's been charged. Just as disturbing, the only press release issued by the LAPD suggested the sole potential criminal culpability might be concealment of a body. The entire reason Celeste ended up in that Tesla trunk, regardless of the manner of death, is because of the illegal, predatory relationship that David was having with Celeste Rivas. Celeste is no longer here to testify, but circumstantial evidence is still evidence, and there is a mountain of it. If LAPD and the District Attorney's Office fail to charge the S crimes against a minor in this case, it will be a true slap in the face to Celeste. She wasn't protected from people like David while she was alive, and we at least owe her that in death. Basically goes on to say there is ample evidence suggesting that this relationship began when she was as young as 12 or even younger. She was lured out of school and allowed to live that lifestyle. Predators who exploit their fame and money to target children are an especially sick breed. I am and not prosecuting the sex crimes that I am confident 100% occurred by David in this case would be a huge injustice. It's time to move forward with charges. Additional charges could be added later. Make an arrest. And people saying, whatever you think of him, there does need to be some accountability. People saying, I agree, regardless of if he's legit or not, he is right about this. And I can't stand people over and over saying this is all normal. There hasn't even been a press conference, right? And this is something I'm going to show you in a minute. Okay, I'll show it to you now. I'm gonna just take a few different threads because there's a lot of stuff I want to get through, but I feel like I want to just like show you things. I want to slowly unravel. You can get at me for trying to ramp up the drama, but I just want to slowly unravel things so that you can understand things that are going on step by step. This comment, it says, seeing the potential email that was sent to Josh, I'll show you that next. If true, the LAPD really dropped the ball. Before her body was found, there was a record of her being in the Hollywood Hills. I'm not sure how in-depth the police go when picking up minors, but some things are definitely not normal. I hear the case is being handled off-site from the main LAPD building, and there's been no updates really. It makes me think they don't exactly know what happened, but David is still cooperating. But only so much you can say before they arrest you unless you're truly not guilty. But he's definitely guilty of multiple crimes here outside of potential murder, so it's weird. If he comes out of this with 0 charges, I'll be dumbfounded. And before I move on, just in response to that statement, I actually want to say, like, kudos to Steve Fisher, because I think a lot of people are scared of getting sued. I'm scared of getting sued. Everything's in my opinion. This is all my opinion, all right? We're reading Reddit comments and giving our opinion, and I can't vouch for any of the information on there. But I actually respect that Steve Fisher is putting his neck out there, and in his opinion, as he said, predators that exploit their fame and money to target children are a sick breed. Not prosecuting the sex crimes that he's confident 100% occurred by David would be a huge injustice. Ample evidence suggesting the relationship begun when she was as young as 12. I've seen all this same stuff, and I feel the same as him, in my personal opinion, not trying to get sued, but I feel the same as him. I feel the same. The entire reason she ended up in that trunk, regardless of how she died, is because of the illegal, predatory PDF relationship that David was allegedly having with Celeste. She's no longer here. They need to charge the sex crimes, all right? These crimes against the minor need to be charged. Shout out to Steve, man. This is all getting lost in the sauce. And when we're seeing this type of BS get posted, when we're seeing stuff like this, nah. We're not doing that. We're not just gonna throw that out there and an Instagram post with a little shocked face emoji opposite the girl, a 14-year-old girl who had her whole life ahead of her. She had no business being in Hollywood. No business rolling around, going backstage with these guys, these adults, all right? And we're going to see way more evidence that's come out in a minute. I'm going to show it to you. Absolutely no business being there. Despicable, all right? And the LAPD needs to do something, and hopefully they will at some point, okay? Because forget, all right, oh, we don't know how she got in the trunk. We can't prove how she died, whatever, okay? It looked like, in my opinion, from all of the things that I've seen, there was a relationship going on between this famous adult and this child. Disgusting. We're not rocking with it. We're not standing for it. Absolutely no. It's gross. So let's point the finger at a few other people, okay? Because there's been a lot of talk about who else might have been involved, what other people knew. Are other people going to go down? Is this a conspiracy amongst a group of people who tried to cover up a murder or a death? Now, there was a rumor, and I can't confirm this is true. I'm just going to give my opinion on something that's been posted on a public forum of Reddit, okay? I don't want to be hearing from these hotshot Hollywood lawyers, okay? But there was allegedly a rumor. Well, there was originally a rumor that basically that David's management had been contacted by somebody who basically said, we know that this underage girl's with David. She's missing. You need to send her back. And the rumor was an email was sent and she was sent back immediately. Now, we ended up seeing some sort of denial from David's manager saying, oh, blah, blah, blah. No. I'm pretty sure he said it never happened or something like that. Or he basically just denied anyone having knowledge of anything possibly going on. Everybody's been very, very careful. Now, I can't confirm the authenticity of this, but this says this was also sent by the same user. The email sent to the manager, allegedly unconfirmed, right? So this was sent to David at Mogul Vision. I guess that's his inbox at the company that's managing him or whatever. Let's see. Mogul.vision. Mogul.vision. I mean, still, it's a website. Still a website. Ain't nothing going on. The lights are on, but nobody's home. Mogul Vision. Wonder what's going on through your inbox, folks. Anyway. Okay, sorry, I've lost my thread now. Hang on a minute. Where is it? There it is. This is allegedly the email that was sent February the 19th. And bear in mind, I believe she officially went missing originally on or around Valentine's Day of 2024. Gross. And it says, there's been talk that the artist David possibly has something to do with the disappearance of 13-year-old Celeste Rivas. If that statement holds any merit, please do the right thing and take her home. Her parents are very worried, and they shared the missing poster. Very creepy, very ominous, and if true, anybody that received this message needs to check themselves. LAPD might need to check them, but they definitely need to check themselves, okay? This is actually chilling. To actually see this email, who knows, could be fake, unconfirmed, but there was a rumored email, now we're seeing the email. Now, look, it'd be easy for somebody to doctor this. I mean, having the David at Mogul Vision email, and then like Mogul Vision is a real domain, it's a real site, so that's not some made up stuff, right? All right, so I've got a little bit more investigation for you here because we're gonna go absolutely dig right through to the depths of the earth to get to the bottom of this thing. I'm a real diglet out here. I'm not gonna lie to you. They're saying this is proof that Josh Marshall was never personally emailed. His actual email address is j@mogul.vision. Now, as usual, deleted post. Yeah, brilliant. All right, they love to just delete and cover up information so that we can't get to the bottom of it. I'm actually tired of all these David subreddits. I would, just for a little bit of backstory, there was a point when I was going to try and like get involved and help with running one of these subreddits, and I'm just, you know what, forget it, because I feel like this is all just a bunch of nonsense. I don't even want to get dragged into all of this ridiculous stuff that's going on with the censorship on these subreddits. People saying totally agree with this. How is sending an email to David proof the manager knew? Even if it was sent to J Mogul email, it's likely he has a EA executive assistant intercepting all of his emails instead of personally opening. Yeah, if an executive assistant gets an email saying that your artist is harboring a 13-year-old runaway, send her back. Well, we're just going to all overlook. Oh, the executive assistant dealt with that. Just deal with that. But what's interesting, right, is you've got people down here. They've basically done a confirmation for j@Mogul Vision. This is actually, they validated this email. Basically, it says the result it is deliverable. Kickbox has confirmed the mailbox exists. It is a real email address. Okay, cool. Fully deliverable. David at Mogul Vision. They're saying it's risky. The email address appears to exist, but it has quality issues that may result in low engagement or a bounce. Now, I feel like maybe part of the reason that is because that's gone around publicly. Okay, they're saying valid, but high risk of bounce, low deliverability score. Perhaps because this email address has now gone around. I don't know, David. Who knows? This email address could be full of hundreds of people basically calling for blood and saying that, with David, you need to actually atone for some of these things that have gone on. I really don't know. But essentially, it seems to suggest that this David at Mogul Vision is a real valid email. Yeah, maybe it's currently going through kind of a low quality assurance period of time. Maybe thousands of people have been emailing it since this came out. But apparently it's a real email address. Now, according to comments under this post, people, and again, just this, just like whipping up, just like whipping up a little Instagram post like this isn't actually proof of anything. I will be fair, okay? Whipping up a little, just some text on a little screenshot, this isn't necessarily proof of anything out either. But it is interesting. Somebody basically claims, to be clear, Josh Marshall sent a screenshot to David of the email he received, and David sent it to one of Celeste's friends, okay? Who knows, right? But basically, okay, where is it? He basically denied having received the email. So we covered it in a previous video. Look, I'm not going to go and pull up the original TikTok comment just because, like, I've seen the actual comment. TikTok, apparently this is verified, but obviously someone has typed it out in another post here, basically. And let's just reiterate. The Josh Marshall basically said the video is false. The person is misinformed. The only time I'll speak on the matter for now. It's been a tough time for my family. I'm a father of 3 children. Like, you want the sympathy card, Sometimes it's like when people throw stuff like that out, they're using their children as human shields for criticism. It's like, it's a tough time for my family. I'm a father of 3 children. Oh, that's good. Are all your kids still alive? Oh, that's great, because there's a family with one of their children is not alive anymore. So, poor you. But he says, I received no emails and I'm no one's roommate. I had zero knowledge of anything, and I don't live in California. I remote 95% of the time, and my job doesn't require me to have much interaction with any of my clients and David. There's so many others that work with him on a day-to-day capacity, not me. And he basically denied that receiving that email. Now, I don't know. I mean, to me personally, like, in my personal opinion, that looks awful. That looks absolutely damning. Now, I'm going to get to a big bombshell, okay? I've got a big bombshell for you guys. I don't need you to, we don't need to hype things up anymore. But Steve Fisher has made a few statements and posted a few things online that seems to suggest that he knows a little bit more than everybody else, okay? People are kind of hating on him and they're saying, oh, he's trolling now because he posted a couple of things to his Twitter or his X and basically said they're done. They're cooked. He's hinting and indicating some of the people involved are cooked. This kind of came amidst a bunch of things that were going on, okay? And look, people are hating on him and saying, oh, this is a clown show. They're not feeling it. You got to stop giving this dude your attention, okay? But there was a time when I felt like everyone was cooked. I felt like David was cooked. I felt like a lot of people are cooked. Why are they cooked? Well, this might be why. And again, just this text on the screen isn't necessarily proof of anything, but Steve has had a lot of information that other people haven't had, and he is saying, yes, the FBI is definitely involved in that case. He's saying the feds are on it. Now, people are hating on him. He's so chatty for a private investigator. Well, somebody's got to do some police work on this because we're hearing about $10,000 fines from the LAPD, which is a joke. But here's why I always thought that the feds would get involved in this situation, okay? I've just dropped my stress ball. That's quite stressful, but I've got another one on deck. But here's why I always felt like the feds were going to get involved in this case. I felt like the feds were going to get involved in this case because we saw that footage of him at a motel, this creepy motel. He's waving to the motel in the distance. Okay, we're hearing about him. He drives to Texas. He likes to drive to Texas and then drive across the country back to California. Who knows who's doing that trip with? Okay, who knows where Celeste lost her life? I always thought that it could have been plausible that maybe that motel had some kind of significance. Maybe that's where it went down. Maybe that's somewhere they stayed. Maybe they were together there. Maybe he was there on his own. Maybe the body was put in the trunk. Any other place in between where he actually kind of like was with his family in Texas and California. Now, if you want to believe what they're saying, oh, concealing a body, oh, it's $10,000 fine, maybe a maximum year in the county if the judge feels like it. Now, that seems like such a slap in the face. As I said at the start of this, I was very convinced that, like, look, if I get caught with a body in my trunk, I'm definitely going to jail immediately. I'm definitely doing a few years at the very bare minimum. There's a big difference between getting caught with a body in your trunk in California and any shred of proof proving that you drove a car with a dead body in it, or that you killed somebody in a different state. You drove a body state to state. You put that dead body in your trunk. You drove it all around Route 66 or whatever they call it for an American tour. You starting to look cooked. Starting to look like you're in a lot of trouble. Starting to look like federal crime could have been committed. And so when Steve Fisher says, yes, the FBI is definitely involved in this case, I'm not surprised. Okay? And now I'm thinking maybe this is why the LAPD haven't had much to say. Maybe the LAPD aren't dealing with this case anymore. Maybe the big boys have come in. I've heard stories about that when I talk about, in my main channel or even on this channel sometimes, when I talk about gangster rap, gang rappers, drill rappers, drill rappers that are involved in gangs and murders have been committed in different places. You got Lil Durk sitting down federal murder for hire charges. They flew out on a private jet to California and killed somebody about a beef with a rapper from Savannah, Georgia, and a killing that took place in Atlanta, Georgia. And then the murder's happening in LA and you're all from Chicago. That's when things start to get federal. And sometimes in those cases, the Chicago police or the local police, they kind of get out of their depth. And that's when the feds come in. That's when the big boys come in. So it really wouldn't surprise me, man. So this is another post on the D4VD subreddit saying PI Steve Fisher says FBI is definitely involved in the case death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. It says Steve Fisher said this in response to another tweet that reads, Steve, I have a question. Should the feds be involved in this since it looks like she went across state lines? And he says, yes, the FBI is definitely involved in the case. This post went on to say, we might assume that Steve is therefore speaking hypothetically, but the question included the presumption that Celeste was indeed taken across state lines. It was not a question about whether or not she was taken across state lines. So basically the question included the presumption, okay? And he's saying, yes, the FBI is definitely involved. He's saying definitely, okay? Steve not only confirmed that the FBI was involved, he also indirectly confirmed that Celeste was in fact taken across state lines. Now, she could have been taken across state lines in the trunk, and no disrespect, I've just got to speak matter of fact so you understand what I'm saying, in the form of a dead body, no longer being alive. Or she could have been taken across state lines as a living, breathing minor in a relationship with an adult. And again, when you start talking about, oh, $10,000 fine and misdemeanor, I don't want to live in a society where Diddy, and this is no defense of Diddy, but Diddy is freaking off, flying girls across flying alleged sex workers across state lines, getting prostitution charges, doing 4 years in jail. But you really going to tell me that somebody can drive across state lines with a minor and be doing all of this stuff, and then she ends up dead in a trunk? We're gonna need to see the feds coming down harder on David than Diddy if this stuff works out to be true, in my opinion. In my humble opinion, okay? In my humble opinion, as always. All right. People are saying this is a bit of a stretch. The FBI are involved because she was a minor who was dating a grown man. Anytime you cross state lines, it's listed as S trafficking, even if only 2 people are involved. And this says we can't rule out additional organized crime and conspiracy elements or other factors that would necessitate the involvement of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I don't think there's any organized crime other than organized PDF file downloading, etc. All right. People saying this is the full X question or reply. So basically, you can just get a look at that of just exactly how it looks, right? Now, before we go any further, okay, I'm quite happy to not duck any fades and address the criticism of Steve Fisher. Now, right now, I'm rocking with Steve. I'll be honest with you guys. I've been keeping track of everything that's been going on. I do have some more information that's going to come out. Not information that's going to come out, but I'm going to get to more information that concerns Steve. I'm rocking with Steve, actually, to be honest with you. I know he's controversial. People don't like him. He's annoying, but I'm rocking with him, okay? But let's address some of the criticism. People saying, does anyone find it annoying and perhaps unprofessional how Steve has been going about this private investigation? How he has been on the shows talking about having the footage. If he has the footage, everyone assume he knows the truth at this point. I believe he was on a show talking about he had the footage of the last person who was driving the car, and he knew who was driving the car, and he didn't want to reveal it. People are saying, so why drop little breadcrumbs on Twitter and cite Reddit info, acting just as uninformed as everyone else? He's basically a messenger of clues leading up to a bigger answer he already knows. Also, he's been trolling random people in the replies that are trying to get answers. Does he really know what the F is going on or not? And is he playing into the popularity of it? I barely know that much about him. Just curious if I'm off or not. I'm not watching this super closely, but that's the impression I get. Okay. Let me hydrate. Got a little liquid death on deck there. So people saying no. LAPD has a constitutional duty to conduct an Sorry, I'm a little bit tired today. I'm not speaking properly. LAPD has a constitutional duty to conduct an effective investigation into crimes involving serious violence. This investigation must start promptly and be adequate. They haven't arrested anyone in so long, so no wonder he's speaking up. It took less time than this to catch the Moscow murders guy. Most people know if they don't apprehend a suspect within 48 hours, the case gets less and less likely to be solved. I don't find it annoying or unprofessional that a private investigator knows more is speaking up, especially since he's worked for victims that have not gotten justice in the past. He's talked about how he's worked with many statutory R cases, and LAPD almost never charges us for it. People are saying he might be the one who opens this investigation up since the LAPD are incompetent. People are saying not at all. I think he's doing great, and I feel like he has probably won the hearts and minds of a few people over the last few posts that he's done, and especially that post that I showed you earlier in the video where he's basically condemning David in this relationship. And I feel like kind of people are rocking with Steve. I'm rocking with Steve right now. We're gonna get to this stuff too. It says my guess he wants people like Neo, Asia, or whoever put her in the front to come forward and tell everything they know. He's also very careful and not trying to say more stuff that might ruin the investigation. Yes, he's provoking them out. Obviously, I don't get why he gets so much hate, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. People are saying, yeah, I believe he's just as uninformed as everyone else. Not sure why people are taking his word as gospel, but now I do understand he's one of very few actually talking about him. Okay, people saying I can't stand him or the people who share his investigation. If anything, I think he's compromising the legitimate police investigation. Oh boy, here we go. I don't think he's interfering. I think he's literally just clueless. He's just Trapmore Ross, but with boots on the ground. He just uses his job title to give himself credibility, but spends time on social media just looking for stuff that other people discover. He's got some stuff other people haven't discovered. We're going to get to it. It says, I'm sure it's a lot of fun for him and likely pretty lucrative when you strike a gold mine like this case, and he has to milk it because there's no guarantee that he'd be able to easily leech onto the next case to the same degree, or to share a case as high profile. Okay, so basically, it's basically kind of It's positive and negative. People saying, no, he is the only person involved in giving us any type of leads or actual substantial evidence. He drops little breadcrumbs that are significantly better and more accurate than anything the LAPD has come out and said, because it's all he can legally talk about, and it also keeps people interested in following the actual case instead of just believing the BS that the LAPD keeps putting out. This is literally why people hire private investigators. People saying, I agree with this. PI is doing much more informing than the LAPD, but my problem is the dude is giving us information and withholding information at the same time. So why tell us clues if you have the damn footage? If you did it already, it just makes it confusing as F for everybody, okay? So basically, right? All right, there's something here, okay? So I've got to be very careful, all right? So I'm rocking with Steve. I'm going to move on. I'm going to show you some of the other stuff that Steve has in a minute. So before we go any further, I just want to address something really quickly. I need to be careful because there's some sensitive information in this next post that I don't want to show you. But one of the things that really people didn't like about Steve Fisher was that, like, he had previously basically shared, I believe in an interview, that he had said that they had recovered some kind of... He was very vague, and people didn't like how vague he was. He basically kind of... I believe the words he used exactly was, like, some kind of sadistic items were left at the property, which he believed were part of a wider plan to get rid of or destroy the body. And there was a lot of speculation. You know, I did a video about it. I basically speculated it was some kind of either like power tools or equipment or some kind of machinery or tools or items, basically, that could be used to like get rid of, destroy, cut up, you know, who knows, right? Now, what some people have kind of said as time's gone on, I don't know whether I don't think he's confirmed it, but there was kind of speculation that it was kind of maybe like farm tools. It was tools or items that might usually be used in agriculture, but could actually end up being used to destroy a body. And one of the things that's come out, and Steve has kept this tight-lipped. Now, maybe he's kept tight-lipped about this because it is so messed up and it's something that really is going to be going to need to be investigated properly. Now, okay, so I need to just be very careful here. Okay, I think I'm good. So, all right, I can't show you the top part of this post because it actually has sensitive information in it. But basically what this is this is a post that's basically pointing out there's like a little farming shed at, I believe this is in Texas, where, you know, David be staying with his family and stuff. And there's basically like a farming shed. There's a little mini tractor there. Speculation that there might have been tools. Now, let me just be very careful. I don't want to leak anything too it's sensitive, but like, you know, this is an image of that shed that's been kind of been posted around, and there's kind of been speculation that basically, you know, maybe he had kind of got some tools and maybe he had ordered some tools under the guise of its farming equipment and then kind of planned to use that to get rid of the body. People are saying, is that the same shed from SF's picture that he found? And basically people were saying if he brought some equipment, it would make sense to have it delivered to a farm first to not arouse suspicion, then transport it via a rental truck, perhaps back to LA. The photo could be the point of collecting said items all from the shed, all speculation, right? He was saying it's a picture the private investigator found on a camera that was left in the mansion that had photos of Celeste around the same time. We're about to get to that, okay? So basically, there's a photo... all right, I'm trying to just I'm not trying to do a Steve, but I'm just trying to like reveal the information piece by piece so you can actually follow what's going on. Okay, people are saying, did he go back to Texas to his farm shed to collect some evaporator equipment that you would see on a farm? It would be less suspicious to order it for the farm than take it back to LA while it's still in his box. And if these tools were used to hurt or destroy or conceal a body, and they were shipped to Texas on a farm and then driven to LA, it's getting federal, isn't it? It's getting very federal. People saying there's a video where he's talking about his parents' farm. It's in his little mini documentary, okay? And basically, there's a few things back and forth, right? But basically, it says, so was she at his parents' house ever? The photos that SF uploaded were from David's camera SD card. I don't know, but they were David's. Do you think that he ever introduced her to his parents? He was saying, yes, I believe he has. And she's now been seen with his parents, his brother, and his little sister. She's been seen sat with the family all together at a show. If you look it up, it should come with a Reddit. Now, okay, so this is Steve's Twitter, okay, and this was a big post that relates to what's going on. This is basically what he posted, all right, and then the immediate post that came after this, one day later, was him saying, cooked, they're done. They're cooked. They're overcooked. So what is the information that made him think that everybody was cooked? Well, it says on the night of December the 30th through to the morning of December the 31st, 2024, David and Celeste were together in downtown Los Angeles, where several photos were taken in public. Celeste was 14 years old at the time and about 70 miles away from her home in Lake Elsinore. Whether she was sober that night or not is up to interpretation. There is photo evidence of them together again on January the 2nd, 2025. Then, on January the 8th, a sizable crew was filming a music video with David out of state. And by January the 11th, David in his hometown of Texas. Then on January the 20th, 2025, he's on a Delta flight. So the question is, where was Celeste between January the 3rd and January the 20th, 2025? Can anyone account for her during that time? There were many people present at the music video shoot. Did anyone see her there? What about in his hometown in Texas? Does anyone have any proof of life for Celeste Rivas Hernandez after January the 2nd, 2025? And from what I understand, I believe I've seen posts to suggest that basically like either a camera or an SD card, or a camera with an SD card in it, if you want to be kind of pedantic about it, was actually left at that property. Now, if the LAPD left that, and it might have something that hinted at Celeste, this minor who was allegedly in a relationship with this adult, this famous adult, being potentially going to Texas, that's federal. Time for the feds. Feds, come through, sort this out. So he posted these pictures, all right? And look, ain't no need for debate. Ain't no, oh, well, it's not her. Oh, but the hair. Oh, but the angle. But that could be the other Celeste, bro. There she is. So that looks like David with his little painted nails. Like, I hate this guy. It's just so lame. There's nothing wrong with painting your nails as a man, but I just feel like his little fake, like, I'm a sad boy, like, I'm a cool, stylish sad boy with a knife. I got a flick knife. Like, we've seen him pull that knife out on his thing. So he's rolling around downtown LA with a knife. Like, just give it a rest, man. But, you know, this is from the music video shoot. And they're saying, oh, we can't really see if she was there. Was she there? She was there. She was there on December 30th, nearly at midnight. I mean, I wonder how that picture was taken. That's kind of weird. You know? And then we're seeing the farm. He pulled up to the farm. Did he get something from the farm? I'm very curious, right? So these images have kind of circulated, and bear in mind, obviously, I already told you this, but, you know, a day after SF posts this, he starts talking about Cooked. All right, and then he's replying to people talking about the feds are getting involved. So I think that is actually very serious and significant. Now, you know, this basically is kind of a creepy sort of, you know, quite well put together, right? Sort of forensic breakdown of the locations from these photographs, okay? And so this basically explains some of the backstory. So I'll read this to you as it's going on. It says, Celeste Rivas Hernandez was photographed by David on the night of December the 30th, 2024, just before midnight in downtown Los Angeles on the 200 South block of Figueroa Street. So they worked out exactly where the street was. They've even superimposed it with the, you know, the street view there. 3 minutes and 35 seconds later, David took another photo of himself approximately 100 yards further south on Figueroa Street, waving a knife around. What is this fool on? It says it's a 3-minute walk south of the location of the first photo to the location of the second photo. Where were David and Celeste walking from, and where were they going? Good question. Very, very good question. Can't keep dropping this, man. It says, were you in the vicinity of Figueroa Street and 3rd Street in downtown Los Angeles on the night of December the 30th, 2024, the night before New Year's Eve? Did you pass through the Los Angeles Metro Grand Ave Arts Bunker Hill Station, a very short walking distance from where these photos were taken on the night of December the 30th, 2024? If so, or if you have any information that might help in the investigation of Celeste's death, please contact the Los Angeles Police Department, or maybe the feds. Maybe you want to contact the feds, all right? So they've basically kind of been working this out. And again, for everybody hating on Steve Fisher, he's still bringing exclusives to the table. People saying this is extremely well made. People are saying, I think they were doing opiates, probably Oxy. I think they were drinking for New Year's. I think she died of respiratory failure and they panicked and hid her body. Bit convenient, isn't it? Bit easy to just come up with that theory and float that out there. But maybe, okay. Why didn't they call the police for an OD? There just seems to be intent based on his gore fascination lyrics and the TikToks and all of that kind of stuff. Anyway, okay. we saw Steve kind of made that post, okay, and that post was circulated on Reddit, and you know, people kind of shared their opinions and all that kind of thing. Okay, I already read you the post, but you know, basically saying that's interesting. People saying interesting choice of words, David, especially coming right after your One More Dance video shoot on January the 8th, 2025. And he said, since everyone is telling me to drop again, I've made the sister song to Here With Me called One More Dance. The song is about mourning the loss of a loved one and longing for one last moment with them, even in the afterlife. It is an interesting choice of words. Okay? It is an interesting choice of words. They're saying, do you have any proof that she was alive when the One More Dance video was filmed? I'm eager to hear your response. And basically, yeah, they don't know. They don't know, right? Now people are hating on him, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, I personally feel like Steve's onto something, okay? People are saying this could have been something happening to her as early as then. And then it's like, now we're seeing behind-the-scenes footage from a David music video shoot. Okay. And they're saying there's just like, this is the actress behind One More Dance, the model that David apparently took a photo of on the film shoot. Now, this is the Celeste lookalike from the video, right? It looks like her. But was the real Celeste around? Interesting, right? It all makes you wonder, right? It all really makes you wonder. Okay. People are asking, when was it taken? They're saying this was February the 7th. You know, this is. I don't think this is the exact same music video that they're referring to, but basically, like, there's a whole bunch of things going around. So I'm going to show you some different things. We're going to change gear now, okay? We're going to move on from what Steve said. I know this has been a long video, and I'm going to wrap it up very soon. But basically, if you remember, if you cast your mind back, okay, there was a woman that was a kind of close to this situation. She was apparently in the whole friend group, and she was kind of getting asked a lot of very difficult questions about this situation that I don't think she really had answers to. There's some new screenshots going around that appear to suggest that somebody contacted her, or that she had had a dialogue with somebody about Celeste being missing. And basically, again, these are unconfirmed, right? Nothing's confirmed to be facts, in my opinion, and just me reacting and giving my opinion to some information that's been posted publicly on an open forum like Reddit. But it says these screenshots were sent anonymously to Modmail. Unconfirmed, this is speculation only, and nothing alleged in these photos are confirmed to be facts. But this woman that was in that little friendship circle, Asia, this is apparently a back and forth. And bear in mind, the dates line up. February the 16th, she went missing on Valentine's Day 2024, right? So she replied to somebody's story, basically posting the missing poster of Celeste and saying, look, we're looking for this girl. We need to get to the bottom of this. And she apparently, allegedly, in this unconfirmed screenshot, she replied, said, bro, this is my friend's girlfriend. And they responded, said, is there a way you can confirm? She's 13. And she replied, what the F? You're lying. And then people have been posting this screenshot around, right? They've been trying to put that out there, okay? And they're saying she's blocked them. She's changed her Instagram name. She's hiding. She's running, okay? Says, man, look, if my homie had a young-looking girl around him that's supposed to be 18 plus, but we got to make sure she's hidden, and my friend has money, but his girlfriend was wearing the same clothes every day, I'm going to notice. She knew she was underage. If that post was in 2024, she knew she was a missing child. The age was on there, and she kept hanging with David. People saying, coming back to add, Asia was confronted by Neetsians after Celeste's body was found 2025, when this screenshot is from 2024 and Celeste was missing. Her reply was always, I didn't know her age, right? Well, Asia must have forgotten that there was evidence, the screenshot OP posted, it's unconfirmed to be fair, of her learning the age in 2024 when she discovered the missing persons post. If we give her the benefit of the doubt and say, oh, she found out when David found out, that's why Celeste got sent back home the first time, so why was Celeste allowed back? And why did the friend group become complicit in the sneakiness? Whether Asia was involved or not, she knew that little girl's age and she minded her business to stay out of it. But now look at her. Definitely getting subpoenaed. People saying, not surprised, seems like she knew something. People saying they obviously knew everything that was going on behind the scenes. How can Celeste be sitting there with David's family in the audience and their main people in the group don't know her? That includes his freaking manager who was there too. It's pretty damning. Pretty damning. That was her going backstage at the same show. And we got more stuff on this show, right? But before we get to that, before we get to that, people, okay, they're saying she def knows something. She was around him. I guarantee you if they block it, something about it is true. She could easily say it's fake AI just because of how easy it is to fake messages nowadays, but she didn't. Tells you a lot. She definitely has some guilt now. Because I'm sure, because if the messages are true, she obviously didn't do much about it. Very sad. People have been waiting for her to be caught up. Okay. Now, this was another thing that was posted, right? Apparently of her speaking out about the situation a while ago, maybe October. And she's saying she never knew. Apparently she said in a comment, I didn't know her age. It breaks my heart. And she said, since people are being super disrespectful, I will clarify some things. I did not know the girl, nor her age. May she rest in peace. I have never posted any videos with Celeste Rivas. Only my friends Vanessa and Celeste Herrera, who are commonly being mistaken as Celeste Rivas. That's Celeste Herrera, man. Oh, we had another Celeste. Not going to work. Everyone wants to act like TikTok detectives, yet can't tell the difference between a person of color. Let's pack it up, y'all. So now it's racist. Now we're racist for looking into this. That is crazy, right? I feel like that is low-key a crash out, right? And people have posted, well, let me add my 2 cents. Asia has a Discord server that's still open, ran by none other than Zerx himself. Of course, it's locked now like David's server, thanks to Zerx. But Asia posted something highly, highly interesting. I suggest everyone take a look for themselves. Asia posted this, anonymous confessions, right? They're saying her Insta is up and active still, but she's just made it private. But, you know, basically, she crashed out, man. I'm gonna keep it real. She crashed out. She tapped back in. Okay, after this little doozy went around, this very damning little doozy went around, she clapped back. She said, for legal and safety reasons, I do not feel comfortable talking about the case. I will speak about it in due time. In the meantime, I suggest you don't believe everything you see online. I'm not sure I believe this. Not sure I believe this, to be honest with you. They're saying Asia had blocked me on Instagram, then posted that on Instagram. Kind of odd in my opinion. She posted that after blocking me when my comment on her post was verbatim, when are you going to say something she was 14? Has anyone else been blocked by her? Or is it just me? People saying it's just a cute horsey there for some pick-me-ups. I had no idea who Asia was before any of this. She's reaching for whatever potential she thinks she has in LA, trying to save her career. People saying she seems like a real peach. Wait, I need to check before I open it. All right, I can't play you this because it's got copyrighted music, but she basically says in this video, she's like, a girl that bullied me in high school just got fat. That's what you get, bitch. All right, that ain't proof of nothing. But basically, she's blocking people. She's crashing out. She's allegedly responding to the screenshot. And she might be having a little bit of a discussion with the feds. Okay. Oh, not again. Not again. Come on. No. We're going to make this work. Okay. Same thing. Obviously, her responding to the screenshot. People are saying they're feeling the pressure. Keep applying it. Literally. They were as cool as cucumbers last 2 weeks, posting Halloween pics like nothing is going on. Right? What's the source of the screenshot? It was sent anonymously to the mods, and yet she keeps placing herself in this case. Obviously, you can't be online because you have connection to this. What online don't you want us to believe, Asia? That you had no part in concealing the death of a child instead of stepping up and doing the right thing? F that. She still has the 4th of July reel up with David. She's definitely still friends. So it's real, LOL. Her guilty conscience is coming to the surface, but it still shows no remorse. What a loser. She still did not deny it. She did not deny it, okay? This is a savage comment. Shall I read it? I'm going to read it, then we're going to move on. Anytime I'm feeling down, I remember that it could be worse. I could be a one-dimensional, talentless loser with zero style and even less self-awareness, a narcissist who's a hanger-on to a pseudo D-list celebrity with no artistic ability who presses buttons of sounds that other people made on an app because he can't play an instrument and doesn't have the brain capacity to learn one. A hack who adds every digital filter known to man over his bland, juvenile, pointless lyrics because he can't sing nor can he write music. These people aren't artists nor visionaries. They add nothing of substance to the spheres of creativity. People saying David's goated. Don't lie and you're downvoted 10 times for sure. He is definitely going to be goated in the county, in my opinion. All right. But anyway, okay. This is the last thing, and I will wrap it up because there were links that I was going to get to, but I don't think that they're that interesting. But this is big. This really is the biggest thing, okay? Basically, when they were talking about, and that image that I showed you a minute ago where you could kind of see there was a bunch of guys, well, David and some females, that one of them allegedly was Asia, having backstage photos at this show at the Fonda Theatre, and then on the right-hand side, you can see Celeste being walked backstage. There's now apparently more proof going around that basically shows that she was at the theater. There's a whole bunch of proof basically, not just showing that Celeste was there, but that basically David's management knew what was going on. She was circulating amongst the management and the friends and the entourage. They knew she was there. It was cool. The underage girl was in the building and everyone was just cooling like it was just a normal day at the office with the David Empire, okay, over at, what's that company called again? Mogul Vision. Just a normal day at the office over at Mogul Vision, allegedly, in my opinion. All right, this says Celeste's new Fonda Theatre footage shows her wearing the same clothes seen in the posts on the Yay Woohoo 7 account and the Hello Kitty Life Girl accounts, while also being near David's management team at the side of the stage. Oh boy. Oh boy, that's her being walked backstage. I believe it was David's brother that they were saying that she was walking backstage with. They're saying that's Celeste there with David's family. Let me pull cooked. Everyone's cooked. You're all cooked. Everybody's cooked. That's what I mean. They're done. Not he's done. They're done. And I'll refer back to this every time I need to, right? If I need to, okay? Celeste with David's family. Celeste, black hoodie, pink leggings, cooling with the set. Celeste, grey sweatpants. David's Fonda Theatre Show, June 28th, 2024, dressing room, day 2. Celeste, grey hoodie. Cuddling with the alien face over her face. Grey sweatpants. She all up in the dress. What was going on in that dressing room? Whole team there. They're saying Celeste in the grey hoodie. Celeste. They're saying that's her. It's hard to see, but they're saying that's her. Visible red hair. Saying that's her, man. That's what they're saying. In their opinion. Red hair and hood. David and Celeste at the Hollywood Hills mansion together. Look at that face. Punchable as fuck, man. That face, super punchable face. Same hoodie. Yay Woohoo 7 and Hello Kitty Life Girl TikToks and Instagram accounts. Bruh, the internet detectives are undefeated, man. The Fonda Theatre. This is the little post that was on her socials. It's the same hallway. There ain't no hiding it. Where's the Fonda Theatre? The Fonda Theatre. Oh, it's in Los Angeles. Okay, so it's in the city. Not quite federal. Not quite federal, but it's in LA. David Show. Oh no, people from the label. You got fools from the label. Fools from the photo booth. Gang. Not the whole squad. And she's in the building. The new video footage captures Celeste at the Fonda Theatre on June the 28th, 2024, second night, where she can be seen coming to the side of the stage right at the very beginning of David's performance. She's standing with David's day-to-day manager, Robert Morgenroth. Oh, no! No! And next to him is Lane Cooperstein, along with a few other crew members. She was only at the side of the stage for a short time, and after that, I'd assume she went to sit with David's family, since he'd already given her a shout-out to her mom in the crowd. Oh my God, no. On the first show night, June 27th, 2024, she was wearing a black hoodie with pink leggings. The next day, she wore a grey hoodie and sweatpants, matching the outfit she posted on her Instagram and TikToks. Yay Woohoo 7 and Hello Kitty Life Girl while covering her face. After this, it's hard to ignore that Yay Woohoo appears to be Celeste, especially since she's wearing the same grey hoodie, and you can also see her red hair. On this day, the photo booth session of David's main group, Asia. No, don't believe everything you see on the internet. Asia. Neo. I've not dug into Neo enough, but I can dig into this clown at some point. But you know what I'm saying? We can get to that another day, but that's not really the important stuff. Celeste Herrera, the decoy Celeste in the building. They all took photos in the photo booth, which further confirms they were aware of Celeste being there, but were obviously trying to keep it low-key. Just got to keep this low-key for the PDFs in the building, allegedly, in my opinion. This pretty much shows that Rupert Lane and the rest of David's core team clearly knew that Celeste was... Well, they clearly knew Celeste, so it's not something that can be really denied at this point. Right, so here's some of that footage that they're saying, okay? Like, try and see if you can see anything. It's going to be a little bit difficult. Now, I'm going to mute it here. There is going to be a moment later on. They're saying that's Celeste in the grey hoodie next to the stage. It's a bad look. It's a bad look. So there's going to be some stuff of him talking on the stage that I'm going to play too. It's a bad boy look. Celeste right there. That's what they're saying. It's her. She's there. She's in the building. She's next to the stage. Prime seats, front, prime time. And then this clown's just rocking out the stage, doing his lame little thing.
We're gonna make some memories. It's been a little minute since I've been in LA.
Yeah, we're gonna make some memories, all right. We're gonna make some memories. We're gonna make some evident memories.
I got 3 nights sold out at the Fonda, man. I can't say that enough. Thank you, I love y'all so much.
Sly Gurning, like, what are you on, bro? Look at his jaw. Jaw swinging. Jaw swinging. What's he on?
And now we got 3 nights sold out at the Fonda,
That
man.
jaw.
I can't say that enough. Thank you, I love y'all so much. I got an album all the way.
He is off the dizzle, bro. He's looking like he's off the molly. I ain't gonna lie to you. He is looking cracked out off the molly on stage. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Look at that jaw. Look at the way he's moving, bro. He is high. He is tweaking. Nah, I don't know about that, mate. Tour's not on the way, bro. Prison on the way. In my opinion. Prison on the way, in my opinion.
So, I want to hear all y'all sing this next song with me. This one is called Backstreet Girl. More tours on the way. So, I want to hear all y'all sing this next song with me.
Oh, the manager. Not the manager. Not the day-to-day manager.
This one is called Backstreet Girl.
Any more Celeste sightings coming up? We're gonna see anything else? GM at David's label in the building. David's day-to-day manager in the building. Uh-oh. Fed time. About to be Fed time. Now, look, this was huge news. And before we get to it, I'm just going to show you this again. Just, they're done. They're cooked. All right, they're cooked. Okay. People saying, I hope LAPD revisits any statements that David's team and Inner Circle may have made in light of further associations of Celeste with them. Let's not ignore that Asia has made multiple false claims about not knowing her age. Secondly, there's a reason one Celeste was known by her name and the other CC. Thirdly, Neo was the last to move this Tesla with Celeste in it and put a new air freshener in the car. As well, Josh denied receiving an email from Celeste's family about her going missing when he clearly responded to that email. And let's not forget Zerk acting as a fixer in the Discord. This post helps solidify the collusion amongst David's inner circle. What else are they trying to hide? Let's get Lil Celeste justice, and let's have all of these creeps held accountable. Justice for Celeste. Totally agree with you. It'll be interesting to see what the next steps will be for Asia, Neo, and the others, with this confirming that management knew Celeste was around and never reported her back to law enforcement. They've definitely dug themselves deeper into this hole. Let's wait and see what they will scramble to do after this. They're done. Not he's done. They're done. A little conspiracy for the feds, okay, for the federales. Now, this was big, okay. This has been posted in numerous David-related subreddits, all right. It's racking up hundreds of comments, okay. They're saying new Celeste sighting, okay. Everybody's been working out. Is this 3 nights in the Fonda? Like, we've already looked at this, but it's just like, boom, connecting the manager. Like, they cooking the manager. They're done. They're done. All right? No. You're cooked. You're overly cooked, man. Overly cooked. General manager and partner at Mogul Vision with Josh Marshall, Robert Morangoth Jr. is David's on the road and day-to-day tour manager. Recently, I've been sent some photos from an individual who stated they're part of a vigilante group called RIA. The vigilantes are on your ass. You got the FBI and the RIA. Bro, you're cooked. All right, all the 3 letters on your ass, okay? And you got TLR, RIA, and the FBI on your case. You're cooked. And SF investigates. And they obtained these photos. I'll be adding to the post from the David Discord. These photos appear to have not been deleted or wiped from the server. Terrible damage control on their end. These photos have been enhanced and clearly show Celeste in a black hoodie with red hair watching David perform while trying not to be seen. I will post the unenhanced as well. From what she's wearing, this appears to be the same day that she was filmed sneaking backstage with David's brother Caleb in that black hoodie, pink pants, and Hello Kitty Crocs. There's also a TikTok from the crowd POV that shows David singing in that direction off stage. Oh no. David doing his thing on stage, showing a little love to that side of the stage, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, the post continues. It says there's other photos of Celeste sitting with what appears to be David's mother and sister in the crowd. It's important to note that these possibly may have been from different days. The concert is in the Fonda Theatre. He had concerts there for 3 days in a row, so it's slightly unclear what day this was. But all in all, this is proof that David's team have known about Celeste, even his family. To bring back up Josh Marshall, we know he allegedly received an email about Celeste being missing and states he never received it and that he's not around David and that he mainly works from home. That may be true, as two things can be true at once, but Rob had to know her, and around that time, that same time as Josh was also there taking those group photos and is in them. In the photos, we can identify 3 people, Rob, Josh, and a woman named Lane. She's backstage besides Rob, and he's the manager. So I'm sure Lane's role within the company. I'm not sure of Lane's role within the company. I won't speak further on her as of yet. But where is Rob right now, and what does he know about her death? Does he know if she was alive after January? Does he know about her body being in the Tesla left to rot? Questions that we all need Rob to answer. Good work. Shame on everyone that knew about her. What a bad group of people. And I personally think his parents knew and didn't care. Was this 2024? They're saying this is from June 2024. Right? Wow. It's crazy that she seems to be looking directly at the camera. It's like she was constantly in a state of paranoia over getting found out. She shouldn't have to carry that burden. Okay? They're saying W, right? They're saying W. Now, I do have a few things. I have a few other things I could touch on. Obviously, this is saying David Celeste spotted with David's entourage at the Fonda Theatre. You know, I hope he's Fonda prison food. That's all I'll say, man. Just in my opinion. In my opinion, his entire team is effing weird, bro. All right, everyone come in here for the last photo. Celeste, stay over there. You know we hide in you. The world ain't ready. Ha ha ha. Takes group photo without her. F them all, especially his mom, especially mom and managers. All this evident, and they're still going to give some excuse like, we didn't know she was there. They'll most likely say they thought she was 19 or of age, like his acquaintances have already claimed. They knew she was 11 to 14. Anyway, you know all that stuff, man. So look, basically, people are look. I could read you Reddit comments for another hour, but like realistically, all of that stuff I've given you there is the most damning stuff. So allegedly, the feds are picking up the case. All right. The underage girl has been spotted at the show around everybody that had anything to do with David, his family, his team, his friends. You got friends that have, we don't know if those screenshots are real, but this Asia chick we're talking about, people were DMing her, bruh, this is a 13-year-old girl. He's like, oh, you're lying, bro. Just one last time, just for everybody. All right, cooked. It's only a matter of time, in my opinion, until dinner is served. Okay, in my humble opinion. Okay, that is the David update. People have been asking for the David update for weeks and weeks. I haven't touched on the story. I wanted to kind of wait for some substantial things to happen, and over the last few days, I feel like a few substantial things happened, so I decided to put this whole thing together. I'm sorry it was so long, but I hope you guys found it helpful. You know what I'm saying? Currently battling the acne war right now, but we kind of winning, you know what I'm saying? But we rock in different colors, you know what I'm saying? We don't want to rock the David special over here, man. But just trying to keep my skin clear, my mind clean. But yeah, that's the update, man. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Do you feel like David is cooked? Do you feel like we're over egging it? Do you feel like the private investigator Steve Fisher is doing too much? Are the LAPD not doing enough? Are the feds being very low-key and taking over the case? Maybe the LAPD have handed the case over to the feds. Do you think Steve Fisher's capping when he says the FBI is involved? I'm personally, just my personal opinion, I think the FBI are involved. I think everybody's cooked. I think FBI cases take a long time. They let people get right up to the point when they're about to run away. It took over a year for them to get all the guys that killed FBG Duck. If you followed that story that I covered on the main channel, Lil Durk was running riot for a good close to 2 years. It was definitely like, what was it? 2023, 2024? That was like a year ago. Yeah. So like Lil Durk was basically running amok for like 2 years until he got caught up for his murder for hire. The feds, they take their time, they cross their T's and dot their I's, but I'm not gonna lie, might be the whole crew. Might be the Rico, might be the David, whatever he calls his little lame little crew of losers who cover up all this stuff allegedly for him, in my opinion. But the way it looks from the things I've seen on Reddit, might be the David Rico coming soon, man. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, man. I'll keep you guys updated, and we're all waiting for the big day when dinner is served. So I'll see you guys there. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching, and peace out.